The James Show Podcast.
The City Council of Addison has let me down. They were poised to be the 5th suburb that was going to allow their voters to have their voice heard, or at least expressed, in a referendum next year on whether or not they want to stay in DART, in the Dallas area rapid transit system. So we already have Plano, which is going to give it to their voters. Yay, Plano. Farmers Branch, Irving, Highland Park. What was the other one? I don't even remember right now. There's like 4 of them. Did I just name 4? And this was going to be the 5th. Addison was going to be the 5th. Didn't happen. So kind of breaks my heart because we had some momentum going into this. We had 4 suburbs in a row that were down with this. But here's the report from WFAA.
Addison DART riders may be feeling some relief this morning. The City Council last night voting not to hold a special election over leaving the mass transit agency. The Town Council voted 4-3 not to hold that election after listening to 2 hours of public comments, most of them opposed to leaving DART. Still, 4 of the 13 member cities that DART serves are considering leaving, with voters in Plano, Irving, Farmers Branch, and Highland Park, with elections on the issue scheduled for next May.
All right, yeah, I said all that correctly, but still disappointed with the results. So when you look at who is supporting DART, who is on the other side of this? Because I want DART to die. I hate DART with the hot, hot heat of 1,000 suns. It can't die fast enough. Rip up all the tracks, write an apology note to the taxpayers of North Texas, and promise never to try this again. That's my position. There's people on the other side. Now, who are these people? Just leftists. The people that are handling a lot of the logistics and fundraising and support of DART behind the Dallas Area Transit Alliance. It's the Action Network. Same people that gave you the Women's March, you know, where they had the pink body part hats on their head during the Trump first inauguration. A lot of BLM riots, a lot of Antifa fundraising. These people, these are the people that DART is just a leftist employment program as far as I can see. I mean, that's the only real advantage to anybody out here. You can show me about 13 handicapped people who use DART, and that would be sad for it to go away, but we don't need to spend $1.8 billion so a handful, a couple dozen people who have mobility issues can get a free ride. I'm like, James, well, what are they going to do? I don't know, whatever they do in Arlington. Arlington doesn't have DART. Mesquite doesn't have DART. Most of the places around here don't have DART, and they have handicapped people. Are they all just having their rights violated? Are they all just like writhing and dying in the gutters because no one will give them a lift? No, that's not it at all. It's just a terrible idea. It didn't live up to any of its promises. The service is terrible. The cost is out of control. They weren't supposed to take on debt. They did. And they don't even do the right studies on this. I remember in one of the videos where they were saying why we should keep DART, they're like, the average commuter in North Texas spends 3 whole days in their car sitting in traffic. It's like, okay, but the average DART commuter, how much time does he spend waiting for the next bus or waiting for the next train or waiting for the stupid Mr. Rogers trolley line on McKinney Avenue? What is that?
Right, trolley. Neighborhood of make-believe.
Yeah, it is the neighborhood of make-believe. The idea that we need streetcars and we need trains and we need buses and that'll take us to the next level of society, that's fantasy. All right, stop it. I'm tired of this stupid trolley. There you go. I could have just turned it off, but I decided to blow it up. So I find that hyper disappointing. On the other side, most of this stuff is predicated on you need a smaller carbon footprint, you know, we got to save the planet, there's global warming. Well, here's some good news on that front. Donald Trump today in a press conference announced that he's repealing a lot of these energy plans, the CAFE standards, the fuel efficiency standards. Now, if this goes all the way into repealing all of that, I am so happy about this. But let's just dip in. This was him about an hour ago.
From day one, I've been taking action to make buying a car more affordable. I signed an executive order to end the unfair, expensive electric vehicle mandate. As you know, we had to have an electric car within a very short period of time, even though there was no way of charging them and lots of other things. It would have cost $5 trillion to build the charging plants. And as you know, in certain parts of the Midwest, they spent, to build 9 chargers, they spent $8 billion. So that wasn't working out too well. That was done before me, by the way. I wouldn't have let it go forward. We're canceling the EPA's absurd tailpipe emission standards, one of the most important things.
That's good.
I've never had a group of people come to me more more powerfully and really just devastated that they had to do it. It was killing them than the automobile manufacturers, the tailpipe emission standards. And I can tell you, your people at Ford were coming to me all the time, and they were saying, like, please, it doesn't do anything, and it's killing us. And it's driving the cost through the roof. And we revoked Biden's emissions waiver for California so that California communists could not regulate the automobile industry and ruin the entire nation of automobiles.
All right.
And they were doing that.
So that's kind of a nice summary of what he goes into more detail on. But the line at the bottom said, President Trump announces new fuel economy standards. Okay, that sounds like an improvement, but that still sounds like they're falling short of my preference. How about no fuel economy standards? How about nowhere in the Constitution or Article 1, Section 8 does it say Congress or the President or executive or anybody can tell you what the fuel efficiency can be on your fleet of vehicles? All right, it's the 38th annual Cumulus Kids. All right, my guest here is the great Brian Harrison, the state rep out of the Midlothian area. Brian, I was at a Kroger in Midlothian yesterday in your district. You didn't even stop by and say hi.
You're in Midlothian and you don't even call? I'm offended. I'm offended.
All right. So I like the good news that you were sharing on your social media feeds. Texas, after a string of defeats against DEI, surprisingly enough, sounds like we got a DEI win. Please tell people the good news.
Well, hang on a second. You usually lead off by telling everybody how I'm your least favorite guest and how I depress you. You at least got to change. I mean, give us some credit. We got some good news today. This is not the usual, update where we passed, a resolution for Zoroastrianism or Pakistan Day or honored Beyonce. I've got some good news. Can we at least start with it? Did we start with that?
Yeah, okay. Hey, this is the rare chance where I actually like Brian's message.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Now that we're off to the right start here. No, we got some great news. It never should have had to be a battle like this, but, the Texas government has given up. We're done doing sessions. But last night I was able to announce that I've single-handedly ended the biggest DEI program in the entire Texas government for almost 20-something years now. People are going to be shocked probably to learn this, by the way, if you're hearing this.
I kind of was, too. Go ahead and tell them.
Now, the Texas government has probably been one of, if not the biggest funders of DEI in the whole country. Every state agency is required to issue their contracts based on DEI criteria. Not excellence, not capability, but race and gender. And in fact, just one of our agencies, Texas Department of Transportation, to give you some scale of how big this is, admitted to me in a hearing earlier this year that just last year in DEI contracts alone, they spent over $1 billion. So Texans who are being taxed out of their homes, by the way, out of control property taxes and sales taxes, they've been funding DEI. And the Texas legislature, the governor, lieutenant governor, Texas House, Speaker of the House, Texas Senate, refused to stop funding DEI. But I, 2 months ago, referred our comptroller who oversees the program to the Trump's Department of Justice. And within the span of less 2 months after I did that, I think a day or two later, they took it off their website. And then as of last night, it looks like that program has been officially ended. And, it shouldn't take this much effort and this much hard work. But you know what? I am proud to have delivered the single biggest blow against DEI in the state of Texas, more than the governor, lieutenant governor, Texas House, Texas Senate combined. And this is a massive win for Texans, because Texans don't believe in discriminatory policies. Texans don't want their money being spent on DEI, and they certainly don't want to be wasting billions of dollars overpaying on contracts to issue them based on somebody's race or their gender. So this is something Texas never should have done in the first place, but I'm proud to have ended it, and it's a big deal.
Well, hang on, State Rep Brian Harrison. I remember talking about this in months past. These are the hubs, the historically underprivileged businesses, which historically underprivileged means as long as you don't meet the demographic profile of James Parker, you can get some of this tax money. I don't qualify for anything. I'm not a woman. I'm not a minority. I don't have a club foot. I'm not native of any sort, so... This just seemed like a very exclusionary policy, which is interesting because I thought the I in DEI meant inclusion. So that I get confused sometimes.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's the exact opposite of that. And it's I'll call it what most politicians will refuse to say the word. I'll say it. DEI programs are racist. The way that they're being implemented here in the state of Texas. They are. Basically, and their argument is like so insane. Well, reverse racism, isn't exactly. No, I'm sorry. Reverse racism is racism. You know, it's like Chief Justice John Roberts, who I disagree with on a lot of things, but he said something really great once. He said, if you want government to stop discriminating on the basis of race, then stop discriminating on the basis of race. And it's been infuriating for me since I left the Trump administration and got elected in Texas to learn that the Texas government, instead of leading the fight against discriminatory DEI, Texans have been being taxed out of their homes to fund one of, if not the biggest DEI programs in the entire country. And the biggest DEI program in Texas, I was able to get killed off, and that was the big news out of last night. But I just want to say thank you, because you and I have talked about this over the many months of this year in the sessions, and I want to give credit to the people that listen to your show on WBAP and across the state, and who've heard me come on and talk, because I know what happens, because they tag me in social media. They go in and they tag the governor, lieutenant governor, comptroller, whoever, and they make their displeasure known, and it gives me great hope for the future of Texans, because when Texans learn about the rank betrayal that's happening at the hands of so-called Republicans in Austin, they don't stand for it, they don't tolerate it, they demand action, and that's when we're able to get results like we got yesterday against this, killing off this big DEI program.
All right, State Rep Brian Harrison, what it sounds like you're saying is that you didn't necessarily have the influence to get this program squished, but the overwhelming groundswell and uproar from the WBAP audience really gets the credit.
It's the coolest part about my job. Texas government is corrupt. The Texas House is controlled by Democrats. And when I'm standing on the floor of the Texas House, I am very, very frequently doing it very much alone. But the cool thing is, while I'm alone in Austin, in the swamp of Austin, I know that I am locking arms and standing in solidarity with the overwhelming majority of the people, the hardworking taxpayers, the patriotic, freedom-loving men and women of the great state of Texas who want their state to represent their values, to get government off their backs, to cut their taxes, slash their regulations, and know that Texas should be the #1 state in America for liberty. We're not that, but it's just such a cool honor to get to lock arms with millions of Texans who believe in making this state the best state for liberty and freedom and prosperity in the country. And I absolutely credit the hardworking Texans that listen to the James Parker Show on WBAP with helping deliver this big victory. Absolutely.
State Rep Brian Harrison, I like you so much better when you have good news. I appreciate it, sir. Good job.
Me too.
We got a victory this time. Keep it up. A lot of headlines today. If you ask the national media, the biggest headline is Trump said mean things about Somali immigrants. From the Texas point of view, the two big headlines are Addison will not put DART on the ballot, which, hey, all you people, threat to democracy. I thought you loved democracy so much. You're scared to let the people of Addison vote on it. You're scared to let it be on the ballot. You're scared for the public and the people to actually have their voices heard and governed accordingly. So miss me with that threat to democracy stuff next time you hear it. Just remember these people, and they're too scared to put DART for a vote in Addison. No, you're not the pro-democracy people, so you can shut that. Also, Jasmine Crockett announces that she's going to make an announcement on Monday. We know this has something to do with Senate. I think she's going to run. Other people not so sure. We'll find out. Mike in Plano, you're on WBAP. Hey, Mike. Oh, Mike dropped off? Well, good. I can go to the bison story, because I have never in 23 years of talk radio gotten to come on here and tell you about a decapitated bison. WFAA, go.
Along these rolling pastures in Lindsay, the new family's bison ranch near Gainesville
They're beautiful.
is usually peaceful.
Right here through the fence.
But what they found here last Wednesday left that peace shattered.
And I could smell something dead, and I told my wife, I said, hey, we need to go check the inside of the fence line. Something's wrong.
Something was very wrong.
Well, the remains from her hide and the fur on her coat.
One of their bison lying dead with a gunshot, decapitated.
The way that the head was severed off, it was a clean cut across.
That plays a factor in it as well.
The Cooke County Sheriff's Office says it happened between last Sunday and Wednesday. Whoever did it shot the female bison, took its head, and left only its carcass.
It's just completely uncalled for and disrespectful.
So here's the thing. The family tells me whoever did this wasn't just taking a shot at wildlife. They said that whoever did this actually killed the bison, came onto the property, and then took the head with them. And they say that's why this is so frustrating and disheartening.
Especially because it was a mom, and this is her calf.
These guys they're our pets. And, being out here with them every day, it's just, somebody just to come over here and take part of your family away from you. I mean, it's just very disheartening.
Or anyone that can provide information.
Cooke County Sheriff Ray Sappington says he has never witnessed anything like this.
The whole thing is disturbing.
Whoever did it faces a cruelty to non-livestock animals charge, a third-degree felony that carries up to 12 years in prison.
It's a serious crime. It carries serious consequences.
As the sun sets over the rolling hills,
some very unique animals.
Worry grows for his animals' safety. In Lindsay, I'm Adriana De Alba.
All right, do you know where Cooke County is where this happened? This is almost straight north of us. If you're in Tarrant County, this is straight north of you. You know, past Sanger, when you're on your way to Oklahoma, right before you get to the Red River, is that Gainesville? Is that what's right there? Yeah, Gainesville, isn't it? So up 35, like you're going to Oklahoma, it's that last county on our side of the Red River and our border with Oklahoma. So you got to think, well, who historically speaking hunts buffalo? Who historically speaking sees a buffalo and they're like, hey, I need to get that head. I need some buffalo head in my world. I think you're thinking what I'm thinking. Probably Elizabeth Warren's family, right? They're Indians, right? Hey, look, it's next door to Oklahoma. So did we just get raided? Was the Elizabeth Warren family, were they having a family reunion? Maybe they got together for Thanksgiving weekend, had a little too much firewater, things got out of hand, they hopped on the back of their horses, and they did a raid. They did a raid into Texas, just like their ancestors did, because she's a Native American, right? She wouldn't lie about that, because that'd be only something a terrible person would do. So this is my leading theory until you can show me evidence otherwise. I think we've got to check, maybe we can check her cell phone data for Elizabeth Warren, or maybe her smoke signal records. If we have those, we can check those out, maybe get her geo-positioning when the buffalo in question lost their head. Make no mistake about it, we need to get to the bottom of this mystery. Because how cool is it, though, that there's buffalo farmers just up the road? I want to be a buffalo farmer. You know how easy it is to get chicks if you're a buffalo farmer? Because look, you don't understand. Try being me. Like when you meet a woman in a bar, granted this hadn't happened in decades, but when you meet a woman in a bar, what do you do for a job? I'm a talk show host. It's like, oh God, just is there a more estrogenic job you could possibly get? You sure you don't want to be like a elementary school teacher or something? Jesus. But like when you talk about what's a manly job, it's like there's police and firemen, but there's also the rancher. And then you take that to the next level. Not a goat rancher, not even a horse rancher. A buffalo rancher. You're a rancher for buffaloes? And then I know what you're thinking, because I can read Garrett's mind over here. This is going to blow your mind too. Do buffaloes moo? You ever ask yourself that? Cows moo, right? Buffaloes are kind of like even bigger cows. Do buffaloes moo? I know this isn't supposed to be an educational show. This isn't like a Sesame Street spinoff. But I had to find out, because that's the next question I had. Who's chopping off a buffalo head? Well, obviously, probably Elizabeth Warren's family. That mystery solved. Next one, though, do bison moo? I'm not going to leave you hanging. I went and looked it up. There's some dude on Facebook who actually has bison. I don't think it's the same guy. This is from the Tatanka Bison Ranch. And people were asking him, what do bison sound like? So he made a quick little video. This is what they kind of do, a bellow, I guess you would call this. It almost... Hear that? That's bison. And coincidentally, that's also the sound Miss Parker makes when she gets real hungry. Yeah, when she makes that sound, you might want to just get her some food immediately. Anybody got insights on the bison? Anybody got a bison head that their friend was showing off to him yesterday? Let me know. 800-288-9227. I think I know the bison that belongs to. But jokes aside, I think it's really cool that we have bison ranches again. You know why? Because we started eating them. And if you want to save an animal, you got to eat it. When we weren't eating bison, they were going extinct. But now that you go to the store and get a bison burger, someone can attach a profit motive to them. We will never run out of bison. We have bison ranchers that'll make sure that doesn't happen. So remember, if you want to save an animal, eat it. You want to save the tigers? Well, start eating tiger sandwiches, bro. If you want to save the sharks, eat shark sandwiches, the whales, whatever it is. If you want to save an animal, eat it. Michael in Nevada. Nevada, Texas. You're on WBAP. Hey, Michael.
Hey, love your show.
Thank you, sir.
Grew up in a little town a little bit bigger than Bug Tussle, Ada, Oklahoma. And I can tell you, bison, yeah, I agree with you. I think, maybe they ought to check with some taxidermists, maybe from here to there. Somebody ought to turn them in. Hopefully somebody took that to a taxidermist, and they'll do the right thing, man.
Well, you think that's really the only incentive to get a bison head is so you could stuff it and put it on your wall. Because
exactly.
if you're like, for me, the real interest in a bison is to eat the damn thing. I've eaten some bison meat. It's fantastic. The last part I want is the head. That's like the only part you can't really eat. So, yeah, someone's just trying to get a trophy there. And so unless you've got some amateur taxidermy, maybe they have to, maybe they're doing that right now. Like when cars get stolen, they go check junkyards, chop shops or whatever. Maybe they're checking taxidermists for that.
Exactly. Well, to be honest with you, I don't like. I'm not really a big fan of bison meat. I don't even like deer meat. I just like Burger King stuff. But I agree, they're beautiful animals. I just hate that happened. It's a bad story. I hope they get caught. Thank you, James.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your bison concern. This is Michael in Nevada. So check this out. We are going to be giving away some auction items. This is something we do every year to help raise money for the Cumulus Kids Toy Drive. And I remember the prizes being really good last year, but they gave them all to the morning show. And so, hey, I was kind of miffed, but that's okay. I'm the new kid. I'm not in the cool kids club. I have to sit at my own table in the cafeteria during lunch with all the nerds. I got it. I don't get to sit over there with the ticket or the morning show. But this year they actually threw us a bone here, and I get to give away a couple of these auction items. But still, I think the cooler stuff's going to the morning show, but I don't mind telling you about it because, what the heck? How do we get a miniature helmet signed by Super Bowl MVP and Cowboys legend Larry Brown? How cool is that? I love the Larry Brown story. Does he still live around here? I hope he does, man, because this is a guy who was solid. He was good. He wasn't a schlub. But, how rare is it for a cornerback to get a Super Bowl MVP trophy? Almost unheard of. But there was just one game where he had two chances to really make an impact, and he got two interceptions. And so, he worked his whole life, and he put in the work. He lifted the weights. He did the sprints. He went to the practices. He studied the film. And when he was at the top, and it's kind of like that Eminem mentality, if you just have one shot, are you going to grab it or let it go? Larry Brown grabbed it. When he was called upon for his one moment to shine in the most clutch game that he will ever play in his entire life, that dude showed up. So I'm kind of excited about that. But we had the Dallas Cowboys prize pack. There's another Dallas Cowboy football that's signed by number 8 himself, Troy Aikman. And look, even if you don't think that's cool, I know your husband will think it's cool, or your son will think it's cool, or there's somebody that you could give for a Christmas gift that you can't go buy this. You can't get this off Amazon. You can't get this at North Park Mall. You can't get this in that empty lot where Valley View used to be. I don't know why you would. We're just throwing that out there. But look, here's another cool thing that they're giving away tomorrow on the morning show. Christmas at the Anatole. The Hilton Anatole, the luxury hotel downtown? You get 4 tickets to Christmas at the Anatole, 1 hour of ice skating, unlimited holiday train rides, and entry to the holiday bounce house. This is valued at over $1,000. So a family of 4, how amazing would that be? A 2-night stay at the luxurious Hilton Anatole. That's enough there. But if you got kiddos, this is amazing. And then also on the morning show, they're giving away an in-studio experience. If you've ever wanted to sit in with the morning show on WBAP, plus we'll throw some breakfast at you. You can get behind the scenes. Sit in the studio with the WBAP morning show. We'll just pick a day to be agreed upon. And you can watch the magic of live radio up close. So definitely listen to the morning show over the next 2 days. And I'll have a couple of giveaways as well. One of my giveaways is, hey, you want to go to a Stars game with me? Yeah, they just did it on the morning show today. It was go to a Stars game with Monty. I think they got $800 for it. So it'll be me plus another ticket and then 2 tickets for you. So I guess it'll be sort of like a double date. I don't know. I might take Miss Parker. She's not really into hockey. She's never been to a hockey game in her life.
Hi, Miss Parker.
But, how many people that came up today asked if Miss Parker was going to be here. Where's Miss Parker? Or something asked about Miss Parker. I think half of them. I think Miss Parker is more liked on the James Show than me, but that's okay. She's a nicer person than I am. You people are right to think so. So I'm giving that away, and I think I might be the guy that gives away the Larry Brown helmet too. But I have we're going to be doing the auction tomorrow and Friday. I just want to get you ready for it because I don't want to be floating something out. It's like, hey, $500 if you go to Stars Gate with me, and then no one calls in. Don't do that to me. Don't leave me hanging. Don't make me look like a loser. I'm trying to get out of the nerd table at the cafeteria in the Cumulus lunchroom. You know, I want to sit with the cool kids every once in a while. Maybe the guys from the country station or the ticket will let me be their friend for a minute. So don't embarrass me. Let's have a big auction on Thursday and Friday show because it's going to kiddos, the 38th annual Cumulus Kids Toy Drive. You will be the real beneficiary, not me or you. This is for a good cause. So don't let me down. You guys have been great. Keep it up, and thank you. If you want to make a donation, if you don't have time to come out and go to the morning show or go to a Stars game or drop off a toy, you can still help sitting on your butt wherever you're at right now. If you're on a computer, go to WBAP.com. If you're on your phone, you can go to the WBAP app, or you can text the word KIDS, KIDS, to 800-288-9227. Make a monetary donation. And you're like, I don't have a whole lot of money. $20. Can you do $20? I would be super proud. You would be a good person, and you need to know what it feels like to be a good charitable person who's never going to get the credit for it. It's good for your soul, so do it. Text KIDS to 800-288-9227. All right, I'm wrapping it up here from the Kroger. Thank you very much, Kroger, for housing us yesterday and today and letting us interrupt your produce section. Thank you to Dan Harker and the Empower Home team. And thank you to everyone who's donated to the 38th annual Cumulus Kids Toy Drive. I'm James Parker. Mark Levin's next on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP.
The James Show Podcast.